As you guys can see behind me, we are at the drywall phase of this new build. We're about halfway done hanging this project. Not only are we gonna go over how we install drywall over a traditional frame like this, 16 on center, but we're also gonna go over how we install drywall on ICF, insulated concrete forms, as well as SIP, structural insulated panels. Prior to installing drywall, we have to get a series of inspections, obviously framing, but before we cover up the wall, we need to get the MEPs and insulation, so mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Once the inspector comes through, checks off all of those things, we are cleared for cover. So the finish of this house is gonna be a level 5 with minor imperfections. And then all the corners, we're gonna do a tight radius bead. So it'll be just a notch below sharp 90. So I think it'll look really nice, slightly softer. And with that, the light imperfection finish, I think it's gonna be a really nice look. The kind of tricky part we're working with is finishing the drywall up to the timbers. So there's two ways we're doing this. The first way, if we're looking at this, we pre-notched all of these timbers. And we put a backing behind it. So when we put this against the framing wall, it left a gap so we could slide sheetrock behind it. That way it looks like the timber is beyond the wall versus just butting up next to it. But there are a few areas we couldn't quite accomplish that. Up here on the lid in the dining room, for example, all the sheetrock is just going up and butting up next to the timbers. Up here, we're gonna toss up some caulk in these corners to prevent any cracking from any movement. Walking into the primary bedroom, I wanted to show you guys, these are walls that we installed over traditional stick frame. So as you can see, we have a 2x4 vertically, every 16 on center, and that goes throughout the entire room. So this entire room is built that way. With traditional framing, finding the stud's not hard. I mean, you hang up a piece of drywall, you find the stud, you screw it in, it's super easy. But it's one extra thing to worry about. But for the most part, it's been done for many, many years, and it's a very simple way to install drywall. There are two other building practices we use in this house, ICF and SIP, that I want to show you guys. So walking into the bathroom, not only do we have our 16 on center traditional wall that we mount drywall to, but we're also looking at a SIP exterior wall. So here they still decided to do a 16 on center screw pattern, which is nice because when you toss a box down and get those lines to cover the screw heads, it still makes it really easy, but they could virtually screw anywhere. Something that they did here just to notify themselves where things were, there's a plumbing vent right here and some stuff right here. So they marked that on the board so they knew where not to fasten the board to. But overall, the chases that are put in the SIP panels are deep enough to where a 1.25" screw doesn't hit anything important. With these SIP exterior walls, when they put the chase vertically or horizontally in these panels, they put them centered. So when you screw an 1.25" screw, put the drywall on, it only penetrates 3/4 inch. That way, all of the wires running through the chases or the plumbing is safe. Now we're gonna head downstairs and I'm gonna show you guys how we install the drywall on ICF. So walking downstairs, you can see my drywallers have already installed some drywall on the ICF walls we have down here. Basically, super simple. We have a completely flat surface already, so that's super nice. These are really cool because we have studs, they're plastic studs, every 8 inches on center. So you could choose to do 8 inches, which is far too many screws, or just the 16 like my guys have chosen to do, or you can even go to 24 inches on center. So every 4th stud. This is really similar to what I was talking about with the SIP panels. We have the chases that we ran from the balk up to this drop ceiling for all of the HVAC. But basically we foamed this, so it's really easy to see. And when my drywallers put up a sheet of drywall, they can just see where not to screw. But also this vertical chase isn't hitting a stud. There's really no reason for them to screw into this. But furthermore, we foamed on top of all of the wires and we stuffed the wires 2 inches back. So the wires are actually sitting against the concrete, which is 2.25 inch behind here. So there's no way for a drywall screw to even hit that. So these are really safe. Ultimately a really easy product to attach drywall to. It's really cool too, because once my concrete subcontractors pour this, it's good to start hanging drywall. So a really neat product, and this is why a lot of people are going towards ICF. So as you guys can see downstairs, we're about done. Up here, we're finished, and my drywalls will be here, finished downstairs, start taping, mudding, and texturing all of the walls, and hopefully get done this week. We'll be back when all of that's done. We'll show you the corners, a little radius, and the finish that we chose.